Guys, I'll have pictures down below in my Google Photos link to the trailer and stuff I'm going to talk about in this video. So I always forget to mention that, but I need to start remembering. So yeah, let's get on with the episode. But they'll be down below in the link. What's up, guys? Hope you're doing great. It's a Tuesday. And shout out to just all you guys out there that listen to the pod. I so appreciate you. And sorry that I haven't made as many as I told you I was going to, because the phone I ordered that I was planning to use for my truck podcast, well, it cannot run the... Hang on just a second. See y'all later, kiddos. Love ya. It cannot run the Spotify for Creators app. Apparently the phone's too old or something, so I sent that phone back, the Galaxy Active S8, so I guess I have to get a newer one. But then, like, the newer ones, the phone is so big, and even the one I have now is big, especially with a case on it. Don't really love how that is in my pocket when I'm trying to work hard, you know? So I'm trying to figure out this conundrum of how to best way to do it, but maybe I have to get another phone that's at least as new as the one I have, which is like came out in 2019 or something, or newer, I guess, to record the podcast. And maybe I just have two phones like that. Maybe I get one that's even a little newer than mine and just not even hook it up to service, but just use it for podcast recording in the truck with those wireless mics, you know. I don't know. All these things are things now I got to go back to the drawing board on that. But right now I'm just using the Shure NVL mic for right now, because it works with this phone with the old, or like it just plugs in headphone jack without having to take off this massive two-step removal of the case and all that. And so it's not quite as good. I don't like the way it sounds quite as good as the others, but hey, we got a podcast going, so shout out. That's what's going on, but I'm going to figure that out. I got to figure that out so we can get more of them out there. I'll have the Helcim links down below. That's how I run my business, collect all the payments for a very good rate. And I don't make any money from them, but if you click on the link, you'll get $5,000 free transactions, and so will I, so that's really cool. I'll have 50% off Expo down there. I'm trying to think on that, trying to talk to a few guys and my friends, thinking about like Airbnb, rentaling a house, thinking about doing that. I still might stay at one right there by the Expo, like the old Sleep Inn or something. I might do that. I'm trying to finalize and figure that out, because that's the hardest part about going to the Expo, is figuring out the lodging, you know. It's like the biggest hurdle. Everything else is pretty easy. Just figuring out where you're going to stay and then what you're going to drive over there, because I'm not going to drive the old Dodge Ram 1500 over there, because I'm not going to do that. At least I don't really want to. And if my wife stays with the kids, she needs to keep the new van with her. We drove the new van last year, which is great, but so I got to figure that out. But yeah, things are going really good. It's Tuesday. It's after lunch, because we are so blessed. We got a big rainstorm, thunder, lightning for several hours, the whole deal. So that is awesome. That is so awesome. And that is what we needed. So even though I'm going out late, I need to at least get a few done, even if I work late tonight, because, you know, I have so many lawns, you know, like if I don't do anything today, that will be a problem. But if I can get a few, I was doing the math, you know, my numbers, like if I get a few off the list today, if I could do, so I have like these spot where there's 2 next door to each other, and then a spot where there's 3 next door to each other, just down the road. So if I could do those 5, which I should be able to do that today, then that will at least set me up, even though it's already 2 in the afternoon, but it stopped raining. I mean, even the main road isn't all the way dried out yet, you know, like, but the ground has been so dry, I don't think it'll be like soggy, you know what I mean? It should be fine like that. So we're gonna go for it. And if I can do those 5, then, you know, I'll have a stacked days the rest of the week. But I got someone that's a special guest is supposed to be coming on the weekend, and if he does, someone from the community here, so pretty sweet. And I'll try to get him on the pod if he's willing to while he's here. So that'll be cool. So someone secret, that's a really coal guy. He's planning on coming by. So for secret reasons, right? But, yeah, I'm not going to tell much more than that right now, but that's cool. Oh, and then I wanted to talk about on this podcast, so we sold a trailer. So now that we have 3 kids and stuff, and the trailer that we had, we converted to camping and all that, which is cool. And it's been fun. But hang on a second. Let me pause this. My wife is calling in. So I think we're back at it. So my wife was calling in. She was reminding me that I forgot my wallet. So y'all know how that goes. But where I'm going, I don't think I have to buy anything today, gas or anything. So I'm going to chance it. Don't tell anyone, but I'm going to drive over there with no license for just right this, just for today, right? Yeah. So where was I? Oh yeah, the trailer. So we have 3 kids now, and so even if we insulated it and all that, and I was about to put an AC unit up front and do all that for the camping, but my wife and stuff were talking, and it would really be better, since we have all these kids and whatnot, if we got something a little bigger. So we actually decided that we're going to sell that trailer, get most of our money back out of it, and then get an actual camper. So that's what we're planning to do. So that trailer sold really quick. I sold it for $2,800. I bought it for $3,000 new, okay, brand new, which there's a couple hundred more than that for the tax. And then, of course, I put so many hours into doing the installation and all that, which I knew that, and it not a lot of money, maybe another $200-300 on that, like materials, but I knew that I would not, regain that money back. It's just kind of lost, but end up doing that trailer and my other trailer that I use for work. So anyway, that, that kind of is what it is, but $2,800, and oh my gosh, guys, on Marketplace, in less than 10 hours, I had gotten, I think, literally, I had my wife, she counted with me so that I wasn't exaggerating, but I think we literally got 56 messages in 10 hours about the trailer. I made a little video showing what I'd done to it, just like a little 1-minute thing. And man, they were blowing it up. So I guess I could have got a little bit more money than that. But I figure, brand new, I paid $3,200 after tax. And I knew I'm not going to recoup the money I put in for the work I put in. And so, it just kind of is what it is. So I figure, well, I would not take any less than $2,800, but we'll put that like that. And if it sells, great. And it surely did. Could have sold it for, yeah. But, it's Marketplace is funny like that. If I had it, like $200 more than that, maybe nobody would have contacted me. You know what I mean? It's just, it can be funny like that. You got to hit that perfect spot where you're just a little low, and that gets people to jump on it when they're buying things. So that's just kind of, I don't know, it's kind of how it is. And I really wanted to keep it. Like, I would have liked to sell the one that I have the Tony's Lawn Care, graphics on, because the first one I did that we ended up using for camping, that one is 12 feet, and then the one that I have the decals on or whatever is only a 6x10, which it has a little bit more room than that because of the front V-nose. So it's really like an 11 or 12 or whatever, actual footage, but obviously to the tip of the tongue's even way more than that. But even inside, I think is to the peak of that V-nose is probably close to 12, or 11 or something, 11 and a half, or I don't know, it's something like that. But, so that means on the 12 one, you really got 13 to the tip of the V-nose or whatever. So you get more room, right? But, I had all these decals on there. So I'm like, man, Because other than that, they were pretty the same, you know. Except for the first one I did was brand new. And then the one I have the decals on, I bought it used for $2,800 on Facebook Marketplace. And it's in great condition, but it is 10 years old, like actual build date. So, you know, I don't know. It is what it is. So, like, that kind of doesn't make sense in my mind because we sold a trailer that's new and then kept one that's old. But it had those decals on there, and I'm like, do I really want to scrape all that off and start over and design new ones and order new ones and then put them on the other trailer? You know, because if I want to have, you know, graphics on the other one. So that's why I was like, guess I'll just sell the first one, even though I kind of would have preferred to have that other trailer as my work trailer if I would have known that we were going to sell it. But yeah, so it is what it is. So that one's sold. And then also I'll probably, you know, if I get an actual camper, well, then I might need a little more truck power. You know what I mean? So I may end up keeping the Ram I have and then saving up. You know, we're working on saving up towards getting possibly some kind of 3/4 ton truck. You know what I mean? Because if we're going to drive around the state and Florida and stuff and camp and all that, even though I'm not going to get a huge camper, I'm just going to get one, you know, it'll be, like I said, not big, not a fifth wheel, not, you know, none of that stuff. Probably less than 20 feet long, you know, one that I'll get. So it's going to be small. And in fact, my dad's thinking about selling his, so I may end up buying that, which is just, I'm trying to think what it is. It might be like a 16 feet or something. It's a single axle one. It has like bunk beds in the back. You know, it's a few years old. It's probably like a 2010 or 2007 or something. Maybe not. Actually, I think it might be a 2017. But anyway, regardless, you know, he bought that used a few years ago, and if we decide on that, if he wants to sell it, I may buy that one. But for my truck that, you know, is old now and has a couple 100,000 miles and, you know, half ton, all that, if you're gonna pull it like far, if you're gonna pull it to another state or whatever, and if we're gonna continually do that for years to come, because we want to go out even farther with it, like we might go out west with the camper at some point with the kids and all that, you know, and obviously my truck will be fine for the local trips. And so what we're thinking is we might buy a 3/4 ton truck. That way it would just be, you know, that camper that I'm mentioning would be way under load for a 3/4 ton truck, which would be great. That's kind of the ideal situation. And so it'd be under load, and so it'd be, you know, you wouldn't even barely feel it back there that bad. You still will, because, you know, it's a camper, but 3/4 ton truck would pull it great. And so that's kind of what we're thinking. Doing that, saving up our money. Might buy my parents' camper and then buy a 3/4 ton truck. That way we'd have a really good camping setup. And obviously also a 3/4 ton truck would be great, you know, for my lawn care business and stuff. You wouldn't even feel that little enclosed trailer back there, you know, which that'd be good. So I'd like to buy something pretty nice, you know. So the plan is to save up till, which we've already been saving. What I've been trying to do is like all this, you know, money from the extra projects in the spring. You know, any money that's like above the normal money that I make from the route, the normal, you know, mowing route. So like, you know, anytime, you know, people get mulch or whatever, flowers or irrigation repairs or that sort of thing. We're trying to just try to save that money, and then, you know, and all that saved toward the truck, plus any extra bit that I'm able to save at the end of the month just from our other, you know, our normal money. And then my plan is to just stick with my same truck setup, you know, my same truck that I have right now until September. And then in September, you know, save all that I can towards it, which we already have been starting for a couple months, probably since like February or something, just, you know, trying to decide what we do with that extra money. And so, like September time frame, I plan to buy, you know, some kind of 3/4 ton truck. Probably not diesel. I definitely don't even plan on getting a diesel unless it just was the perfect type deal and, whatever. I mean, it's not 100% no, but I definitely plan to just buy a gas burner 2500. So yeah. I also, since we don't have snow or anything here, I prefer 2-wheel drive trucks just because, it's just less I have to work on. Less I have to maintenance and service and stuff. Because I don't drive off-road. My truck drives 9 miles from my house to this Reynolds neighborhood, and obviously it's a very high-end HOA. Like, my truck never goes off the pavement. You know what I mean? So I don't really need... I'm not driving it, in someone's woods behind their house to, like, remove a big tree or something. Like, I'm not going to do that. Now, there is a 3-acre property where I haul off fallen trees and stuff, but still, my truck, there's one little spot where it has a little driveway that goes in there, and I will use that if I need to. But anyway, if it's kind of wet or anything, like, I'm not like, and I don't even pull in there. I usually, I just keep it on the pavement and just drag the stuff out of the woods and put it on the trailer. So anyway, all that being said, I'm looking for something 2-wheel drive, gas burner, 2-wheel drive, as low maintenance as possible. And, you don't have a transfer case and an extra diff and, and all that stuff. The extra drive shaft, different transmission, all this stuff that is part of 4-wheel drive system. Which, I work on those. My father-in-law has a 4-wheel drive Duramax, and I've done plenty of work on his truck. So, I'm not scared of them per se, but for me personally, for our needs, I just want a 2-wheel drive. So we don't have snow or anything. And if we do get snow, we don't drive in it because we don't have any salt or any way to take care of the roads. So if it's snowing, my truck's sitting at the house and it's not moving, right? So until it melts, which, usually wouldn't take long at all. So yeah. So that's kind of my setup, or that's kind of what we do. And yeah. So that's kind of it. So that's my plans going into, again, it's going to take some time. I got to keep on working hard and save till September because I want to get something pretty nice. And so that'll be cool to do more and more research and figure that out. Yeah. My dad has a couple of the Ford 6.2 gas F-250s. I do like that setup. It's pretty nice. Overall, I really like the gas burner Chevys. That is kind of what I really want. I want something kind of a newer body style Chevy gas burner truck. That's kind of what I'm thinking right now. That's kind of what I want. 2-wheel drive gas burner, 3/4 ton. And it's always fun to think about trucks and stuff. I don't swap around trucks. I've had this for over 10, almost right at, I think next year or something, it'll be almost at that 10-year mark. And I bought this Ram for $13,900 10 years ago and have put 100,000 miles on it. It's at, with a trailer on it, okay, in my lawn care business. So I have repaired and fixed a lot of things between then and now. And so, I've definitely got my money's worth of the truck, you know what I mean? But, and I still may just keep it around. I don't know if I'll sell it, or maybe this will just become a backup truck and then we'll have them both, or, something like that. Or I might sell it, but now it has $199 on it right now. And then by the time, September, it's going to have $200. And man, just these Ram 1500s, when you have 200,000 miles on them, like I don't know if it's worth selling. Does that make sense? Like if I can't get $5,000 for it, I don't know that I should sell it. I should just hang on to it. If someone gives me $5,000 for it, I might sell it. Although it still looks extremely nice. It's still a very, very, you won't be able to find one better than this for $5,000 for sure. But anyway, yeah, these are my thoughts going through my head. Oh man, that rain was a blessing. which it's not going to, these lawns are going to do better immediately. I mean, they're not going to be all green right now. I'm pulling up to lawn. First 2 of the clump I told you about. And we're going to try to do these. But yeah, that's kind of the thinking. That's why we sold the trailer. Me and my wife both said that it was kind of sad to sell it because, I don't know, I put a lot of work in that trailer, bought it brand new. It had never had a gas can in it or anything. Like, so it was still very fresh, like, still had like the new trailer wood smell. Because again, since they converted it and just immediately started using it for camping, no mowers in there, no oils ever dripped on the floor, nothing. You know, it's like it could not get any more perfect than that trailer was as far as like condition of it. It's never been, loaded down with anything. I detailed the outside real good. Everything was shining, so they snatched it up like rat quick. Rat quick, is that how they say it in the South? Rat quick. Oh boy. All right. Appreciate you guys. And I better get to work because this dang 2-something, I ain't started yard number 1. But we got a podcast. All right. Yeah.